And I took my pillowcase with all the $20 bills, whoof, 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 and threw all the $20 bills up in the air, and those $20 bills floated over the crowd and fell all over the crowd in that socialist rally there. Within 20 seconds, every one of those $20 bills were picked up and pocketed, and they left. Even socialists respond to incentives. Now, I'm going to tell you a story about what I did to prove that point. No one believed it. Everyone believes that socialists are big-hearted. All they care about is humanity, not themselves. Not true. Not true. I got a pillowcase in my home in Nashville, and I got a whole bunch of $20 bills, and I stuffed my pillowcase full of $20 bills, and I tied it in a knot. You can see this puffy pillowcase full of $20 bills. You got it, the image? Then I sat back in my chair, and I thought, what is the most socialist state in America?
California.
Maybe California. I thought about California, but not really. They're all the Silicon Valley and all that stuff. It could be Oregon. It could be that too. Illinois, maybe. You're getting close. Let me tell you, it's all these states doing all this stuff. In New Jersey, I thought about New Jersey and New York and Connecticut and all these things. And I was looking, and then I came to it. It's Massachusetts. Come on now. Historically, totally Massachusetts. So I finally got the state that was the most socialist in the nation. And then I tried to find what city in that state was the most socialist city. And I thought about it for a while, and I finally came to the conclusion, it's Cambridge. It's Cambridge, Massachusetts, most socialist city in the most socialist state. And then I said, what entity in that state, in that city, in that state is the most, of course it is. It's Harvard University. There's never been a more socialist university in the world. So I had the most socialist university in the most socialist city in the most socialist state. And then I asked myself, what department in Harvard University is the most socialist department? Well, it's got to be the sociology department. I figured sociology department's the most socialist department in the most socialist university in the most socialist city in the most socialist state in the United States. And then I asked myself the last question, which is, what is the moment of when the blossoming of socialism occurs in the sociology department, Harvard University, Cambridge, Massachusetts? And I figured it had to be right after a Bernie Sanders lecture on the lawn. And sure enough, there was a Bernie Sanders lecture on the lawn in front of the sociology department at Harvard University in Cambridge, Mass. So I took my pillowcase and I got on a plane ride to Logan Field and I went down to Cambridge and I was there and I could just hear Bernie wrapping up, free school, free food, free everything. The crowd was going, woo, 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 yeah, wah, wah, wah. And it was out on the lawn. It was an amazing pandemic, a carnival of socialism. Everyone go, all this stuff. And then he finished and the crowd was cheering. And I'd taken one of these little fold-out chairs and I took downwind. All right, I was downwind. I stood on top of the chair and I took my pillowcase with all the $20 bills, whoof, 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 and threw all the $20 bills up in the air. And those $20 bills floated over the crowd and fell all over the crowd in that socialist rally there. Within 20 seconds, every one of those $20 bills were picked up and pocketed and they left. Even socialists believe in incentives.